Hey y'all, welcome back. This is Jamie with Gardens and Getaways. We are in the garden for the second week of July 2025 garden tour. I live here in North Carolina where we have had a crazy amount of rain over the past couple days. Lots of storms, high winds. In those couple of days, I've been at my job working. I work 12-hour shifts, so I don't really get in the garden much on those days. I've got a lot to do out here. I did notice in my top garden we'll go look at, my corn is like completely decimated and blown over. I've got a couple plants that have flipped over, but I see a lot of stuff to harvest. So come along and let's see what we got. So if you've been here for some time, you know that I usually start over here at this bed with the squash, zucchini, that kind of thing, and my cucumber trellis arches. So this is the zucchini that I chose not to tie up just because it had gotten way too big before I could tie it up, and it was doing really well until that storm that I just told you about. And when I came out here, like I said, we've got so much rain. Look at the size of that zucchini that I've got to pick. Oh my goodness, it's huge. So just try to pull this off. When zucchinis get too big like this, I mean, you can still eat them, it's not going to hurt anything, but typically when they are this large, I just make zucchini bread out of them. So big. All right, so I'll keep going around and seeing what else we've got over here. The one thing about the zucchini plant falling over is that it is on top of my cantaloupe plant. So that's a little baby cantaloupe there. So I'm going to have to figure out some way to somehow stake this up a little bit. I see a couple more little zucchinis. I'm gonna pick this one. This is more the size that you want. That's a good size zucchini there. So we'll go ahead and take that. Just keep going around and seeing what else we have. Also, the sunflowers have finally started blooming and they look so great. They did turn out to be so tall and I just love them. I'm hoping to leave them up and let them go to seed, save the seed from them so I have them next year. But also I really hope they kind of shoot off some more little baby sunflowers. You can see one of the ones over. My garden isn't a very small fenced in area, so it's kind of hard to tell or like not be so up close on it when I'm taking a video. But you can see I've got the Vago raised garden beds here. They hold up great. It's the plants that are not holding up to all the rain and really more so the high winds that we got that were just twisting and blowing everything around. The cosmos are starting to peek out, which is beautiful. We've got lots of cucumbers going up that wonderful cattle panel cucumber trellis. That's a cheap way to get your cucumbers up off the ground. Cucumbers grow so much better when they are up off the ground. Got beautiful sunflowers over here. Look how pretty she is. And then this sunflower plant, look, it's in bloom facing the house, but it's got 1, 2, 3 more little baby sunflowers on it, which is exciting. The pink brandywine tomato loved the rain. It's doing wonderful. And there's a massive tomato in there that I can't wait to come pick. So the marigolds below this pink brandywine are doing awesome. I do need to come out here and figure out a way to tie this up. Actually, you know what I'm about to do? I'm about to just lean this over the fence. This fence is about to be the extension. Look at that. The extension of the tomato cage. This is why I'm not a huge fan of tomato cages. So they work in theory, but your tomatoes, this is the top of the tomato cage. Look at all that growth. Like this thing is going to continue to grow. It just gets taller than the tomato cages and then they flop over the top. So they're really, unless you're doing like some sort of determinate, tomato cages aren't always the best option in my opinion, but I had it, so I wanted to use it. Here's another flop here. I got to figure out where we're gonna put her. I will probably tie her up and like tie it to the tomato cage. Okay, let's look at this massive pink brandywine that we've got here. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Definitely need to come out here. She is starting to split a little bit. That's from all the rain. But look at that. This is probably my biggest tomato of the season. I love it. Ignore my nails. I made tie-dye with my nieces and kids and it has not come off. So fabulous. So fabulous. So yes, I'm so excited about this tomato. This pink brandywine, this is definitely the biggest one I've gotten all season. Like I said, slightly starting to crack just because of all the rain that we've had, but I can go eat it. It's gonna be delicious. Coffee break. My cousin got me this mug for my birthday or Christmas a couple years ago. They're really close together, so it's hard to remember, but absolutely love it. I must have been tired of my sleep last night because I dreamed about taking my coffee creamer with me somewhere. How does that happen? I don't know. Look at the tunnel in all its glory of cucumbers. I just love walking under here because you can just see all of your little fruits hanging down. I'm going to continue to dig through here just to make sure I don't have any more zucchinis laying around. I do see a mushroom growing, which is always a good sign. Mushrooms are great for the garden. Great to show that you've got good soil health as well. A lot of that's probably coming from all of the rain that we've had. There's tons of spiders in the garden this morning. I wish that would zoom in and focus on that guy. He's kind of cool looking. I try to leave spiders as much as I can because they do eat bad insects. I saw another little spider web over here. I used to be really terrified of spiders, but they serve a purpose. So if they're not bothering me, I try not to bother them. And when I came out to the garden, when I first was walking around the corner to come out here, there were goldfinches out here and they were so pretty. And I was like, man, I wish I would have caught those on camera. They're absolutely gorgeous. So this is where we are so far with all of our zucchini that we've gotten and our big tomato. I'm going to do something with that jar in a little bit. I'll show you. So now we'll work on cucumbers and the cucumber trellis. I have also noticed that the cucamelons are growing up pretty well also, but I'm going to just come through and snap off these cucumbers. Just use my finger across the top to kind of break them off. We've been making a lot of pickles. How do you keep your pickles crispy? Recently what we've found is just making a refrigerator pickle recipe. We don't keep pickles long enough to can them. The ones that we can get mushy though. How do you prevent that? I use fresh cucumbers. I cut the blossom end off. I soak them in an ice water bath before I get started. I didn't water bath can them for too long. Only 10 minutes. I just don't get it. I don't get it. These are pickling cucumbers. What am I doing wrong? There's going to be a lot of cucumbers out here today. The other thing that we're going to have a lot of today is going to be these cucamelons. Now these are kind of small, so you have to kind of get in there and just see where you find them. I have eaten a couple of these. They're pretty good. Man, I about stuck my hand right on that guy. That would have not been a great start to the day. Look, aren't they cute? They're really good too. There's quite a few growing up the top of the trellis. I'm not sure how I'm going to get those down because I'm struggling just to reach the cucumber itself. I'm only 5 foot tall, y'all. Only 5 foot tall. Throw the little cucamelons in there somewhere. It's hard to hold the camera and pick cucumbers. So I said, let me just put it on my tripod while I come through here and pop these off as I get them. There are some that are way overgrown just for the simple fact that we got so much rain and I haven't been out here in 3 days, like this puppy. Once it gets kind of white like that, lime green, it's going to be kind of bitter. It's not really going to taste that great. I definitely should have picked this sooner, but I've been busy. It's been monsooning, so I haven't been out to the garden. I'm going to give this to my chickens, so I'll just cut it up and give it to them. Let's see if I can find some more cucamelons. Like I said, I can't reach those all the way up there. There are a lot of little baby cucamelons tucked all in here in random spots. This is another cucumber that's unfortunately got too big, but the chickens will love it. Pick some more of these cucamelons. Man, there's a lot of these little things. They're hidden in here because they're so tiny. One thing I do want to show you about growing cucumbers, when you find a cucumber that looks something like this, it just has an odd shape to it. I don't know if you can see that. There's nothing wrong with this. I mean, you can cut this part off is what we'll likely do, and you can still get a couple slices out of this. This is just where the watering hasn't been even. So down here it's probably a little hotter, drier. Up here we've got this storm surge, so it's been pushed full of water really fast. So still edible, it just looks funny. I definitely wouldn't use this for like pickles or anything though, just to slice up and eat real quick. More cucamelons, cucamelons. I think other people call these cucamelons gherkins. I heard them called something else. What do you call them? This is my first year actually growing these. If you've been here a while, you've heard me say one of my girlfriends gave me this plant because she had grown some, let my kids try it, and they enjoyed them. So that's how I wound up with them. I don't know what their technical name is or what the seed packet would say because she gave me a little plant. So I'm going to keep picking and I'll be right back. All right, so I've got a ton of cucumbers. A couple of them are too big to eat. We will give those to the chickens. Lots of little cucamelons down there, very yummy snacks. Let's see what else we can find. Squatted down to look kind of on the bottom here for any more cucumbers that I could possibly pick. I saw a couple more cucamelons, which is wonderful. So I'll pop those off. But I also saw, look at my cantaloupe coming on so good. That's doing wonderful. I've got another one tucked in there, so that's exciting. Got some cantaloupe for later in the season. And I'm still finding cucamelons as I go around. They're tiny, so you kind of have to look extra hard. But also, when I squatted down, I saw over here this Kajari melon. I got that from Baker Creek Seed. I'm excited to taste it. I have never actually had it before. I had just seen it talked about on some other YouTube channels, so I thought I might give it a try. And then I've got another cantaloupe down there, which is looking good. I'm very excited to have some fresh fruit for the house. So good when it's fresh. I actually don't like store-bought cantaloupe, but I will eat it out of the garden, or if I get it from a good farmer's market. I don't know, the store-bought kind, I think they just pick it too early. It just doesn't taste that good to me. I don't know how to explain it. Do you feel that way? Like if it's fresh, it's one thing, but if it's not, I just had to pause. Wait till I show you this cucumber I just saw. This is the biggest of the biggest. I just love having these sunflowers in the background. Like, sunflowers make me so happy. They're so beautiful and they last a pretty long time. So that's always exciting. Okay, so let's pan around to the squash plants and the other side of the trellis. I'm still seeing cucamelons. Like every time I change a view, I get another, I can see more stuff growing on the trellis over there. I'll come back to that in a second though. So the squash I had grown vertically. You may remember from my last video, the staking was working good until it wasn't, and it broke off at the top. I had to cut it back, but it's still growing squash down below. So I'm letting it grow. I'm letting it do its thing. This basil I have cut back a couple of times. I need to come out here and cut it back again just so that it gets a little bit bushier. Do have some dill growing in here. It doesn't look that great. It looks kind of scraggly, but I've been clipping my dill because, like I said, I've been doing pickles inside, so it has been so nice this year. This has worked really well. I've used the squash plants kind of in their foliage to cover up my dill because usually in the heat the dill doesn't do so great here. So this year, growing in that shade, I think it has really helped my dill stay, because normally what happens is I'm getting cucumbers, but my dill has gone kaput on me and not really doing that great. So this year I'm getting both, which is wonderful. I will definitely grow it under the shade of other plants again. And got a little baby eggplant over there. Do you see that? Looking beautiful. I grew one eggplant this year, and I'm really wishing I would have grown more. I'm the only one that eats it. However, I would like to have more than I'm getting. So next year, note to self, grow more eggplant. This is just kind of another pan of the garden. You can really see where that zucchini got knocked over there. You can see how tall those sunflowers are getting, how good the trellis looks with the little archway. We've got peppers and tomatoes up against the house. We'll go look at those. The zinnias are going crazy. They kind of gotten flattened a little bit by the storm as well, but they're still doing good. They'll stand back up some. And then mowing has become an issue. Maybe I should do something other than grass here next year if I decide to let watermelon and cucumber grow again. Because look at these vines. Like, you can't mow in between the vines because you'll mow your vines down. And these watermelon plants just grab onto everything and grow up everything. I don't want you growing up my rosemary. Oh, but looky there. Looky there, looky there. That is a baby watermelon. So you just lay on down here and cover up the other grass. This rosemary bush has just gone crazy. Oh, there's another baby watermelon. Look at that. Look at that. That is so exciting. So exciting. Oh, the rosemary does smell so good, though. It just like brushed my hair and you can just smell it. So, yep, watermelons are going crazy. We do have a lot of watermelons in here, though. So let me step and try not to step on the vines. Like I said, I think the theme song to this video should be Welcome to the Jungle, because it is becoming a jungle. But got a little watermelon growing down here. These are the sugar baby watermelons, by the way. Got another one growing back in there. I don't know if you can see it. And look at these zinnias. Just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. I am letting some of them dry out because I am going to try to save some of the seeds. So I'll come back at a later date and do some of that. This is the back side of this squash. Like I said, I probably need to just go ahead and do a second planting of squash and zucchini. I'll come out here. I noticed, let me show you if I can find it. I noticed some squash, some pests. So these are eggs for the squash bug. So if you ever see these like brown little dots, once again, ignore my tie-dye fingernails, you can just rip this part of the leaf off because you want to get this out of the garden. Sometimes I'll cut it to make it look nicer. Some people take a blowtorch to it, but this is a sign that you are going to have squash bugs, and you need to get on it as soon as you can and get them out of the garden. So I will take this away from the garden so they don't hatch out here. Coming around the rosemary and oregano. Oregano is kind of going to seed too, but I'm going to let it. This oregano is starting to get bitter. It's just gotten woody and too big. It comes back every year, but I'm going to seed save and maybe plant it in some other places. My cilantro has gone to seed, and I'm working on saving the seeds. I've got a little jar that I'm going to be putting these in. And the storm. The storm knocked over this tomato plant that I decided was way too big for this bucket anyways. It was just something I had. Let me show you something interesting about tomato plants. Do you see all this white stuff on this tomato plant? Right here, can you see that? That is actually roots trying to grow out of the tomato plant. That is how much rain we've had here lately and how much moisture has truly been in the air. That the tomato plant itself, all the way up to where it's producing tomatoes, is growing roots. Like, I could plant this down to here right now and these would come out as roots. Secondly, this pot is too small, but look at the bottom of it where it blew over. This tomato plant has grown roots out of the bottom of the pot, which is kind of cool. Had to pause for a second because there was a loud truck going by. Also, this is the view that your plants have. This is me bent over looking at my tomato roots. So the roots have grown out the bottom of this plant. I'm going to stand it back up. It's probably root bound in there, but it is what it is at this point. So I'm going to stand this puppy back up. Lost a tomato in the process. I'm not surprised. It's green. We'll sit it on the counter. It may turn, it may not. We'll see what happens. I've got quite a few tomatoes on this though. This is, I mean, I know it's too big for this pot, but I don't want to get rid of it or move it because it is producing tomatoes. So what do you do? What do you do? It's an experimental plant, I guess. But I have honestly never seen my tomato plants grow this many roots out the side of them before. It's wild to me. Just break off the bad stuff. That's wild. This little Cherokee purple is determined to live. Look who just flew over our fence this is where my dogs can go. This is very dangerous for you to be over here, ma'am. Can you please go back? She does this all the time. She flies over the fence and the dogs get out and they chase her. I've actually lost chickens this way. But what do? I want my chickens to free range. I don't know. I do the best I can to keep them separated. The dogs have got more used to them, but whatever. So we got the tomatoes, stood back up. Hopefully she'll stay. I showed you the oregano, rosemary going crazy. Got lots of seed on the cilantro that I'm going to come through and pop off in just a second. You may have seen my video. I had a bunch of parsley coming up, and I cut everything back and dehydrated it so that it would have more room to grow, but everything is just going crazy. It's a jungle right now, so I'm at these plants' mercy for where they want to go, but they're happy and thriving, so I'm letting them. This watermelon has grown up the fence. You may be able to see there's some more baby watermelons. Got a little sugar baby down there. These will be getting ready here in the next little bit, which is exciting. I got 2 more down there, and see if you can see 2 more right there. That one is really getting to be about size. The sugar babies don't get massive. They don't get as big as some of the other watermelons, like I think it's called like the Alibaba. My mom grew that one year. It was like a massive watermelon. So that's what we've got going on with the watermelons and zinnias. And then as you can see, to leap over the watermelon plants. Oh look, there's another little baby watermelon. That's exciting. All the watermelon. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. With watermelon, you want consistent watering because they will split. This year, like last week when we were in the heat wave, I tried to come out here and water them because I do not want them to split. That has been my problem in the past. I've grown watermelon in the past and they've always gotten looked beautiful and so promising, and then they split. So, fingers crossed that doesn't happen this year. And the dahlia bush. She's fallen over despite me tying her up multiple times. It is what it is. Let's see if I can find a good one. But look how beautiful these are. Look at that. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. Don't be on the floor, girl. You gorgeous. Stand up. Lots of marigolds. They're going crazy. And we've got a ton of tomatoes coming on. So I need to get out here and pick those. I think I just spotted new hornworm damage. I don't think those had hornworm damage before, which is frustrating. So as I pick tomatoes, I'm going to have to look for the hornworm and see if there's more. I had gotten 3 off of here already. You may have seen I did a little video on that. I do have this mystery tomato plant that my friend gave me. I'm letting it grow. It's getting too big for this pot, but I really don't have anywhere else to put it right now. I need to find a spot. Oh, yes. See that? Oh, there it is. Ooh, let me teach you this. Okay, this one was easy to spot because it's got all of these wasp eggs on it. So actually, when a hornworm reaches this state, they're not gonna move anymore, and those will hatch out. They actually feed off of the hornworm, so they're killing it, which is good because that is probably 6 feet in the air, and I'm 5 foot tall, so there's no way I could reach that. So I was correct in thinking I had another hornworm, but, oh, look at this. I have more than one other hornworm. Look, there's another one. I am gonna probably pick this one off just because I can reach it. Do you see the wasp eggs on it? Do you see how camouflaged those suckers are? And they will tear up your plants. They will tear them up. I hate them things. They gross me out. I don't know why. They're so nasty looking. I mean, their color is very pretty, but they're, ugh. I just don't like them. I don't like, they're mushy too. I don't like to grab them, touch them, so I usually knock them off with something else. They don't care that I haven't been out here because I've been working hard and it's been raining. No, they out here eating my plants. I see a tomato that they have totally eaten, decimated, full lunch buffet. It's terrible, terrible. Before I start picking tomatoes, I just wanted to pan from this side of the garden. See the zinnias looking beautiful. I just love them. My favorite is probably this like, whoops, pink corally color. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous. I mean, the pinks are pretty too, but I just really love that coral color. And the oranges. Look at that girl. She is a beauty. Beautiful. I think these have helped to bring in some pollinators, which has been nice. And I'm pretty sure this is what the yellow finches were on when I came out here this morning. So this is the other side of the squash. It's interesting to me because in growing this vertically, so you can see, this is where I grew this up this stake here. This has shot off all this new growth and it's growing more squash. So I am going to put some more squash seeds in the ground, but this plant has been very resilient this year, which has been great. I'm just kind of checking the back sides of these leaves real quick, making sure I don't see any more eggs, since I did find those other squash bug eggs. I don't see any so far, but if I do, like I said, I will just pull them off. I'm likely going to pick this squash over here, just because it's looking like it's close to time and it's getting stuck where it's at. Lots of tomatoes though, beautiful tomatoes. Beautiful, beautiful. And then our last bed up here is the pepper bed. I will say these marigolds have gotten much larger than I anticipated. It's probably the biggest marigolds I've ever grown. Once again, probably all that rain this year. I do have some jalapenos back here. They could get a little bit bigger, so I'm probably going to wait to pick that one. Let's see. There's some other ones down here. It's kind of hard to see because, like I said, welcome to the jungle. It's a jungle right now. So I'm going to go in, grab some stuff if I can. More zinnias over here on the other side of the pepper bed. And, oh, look at that beautiful pollinator. You go, little bee. You go. Aren't they just amazing little creatures? It's really interesting how bees have different jobs and do different things. Anyways, and how far they can go too. Got some good green peppers back there. Probably going to break those off today. Now these peppers, let's just talk about this for a second. So these peppers were bought in a 4-pack together. The green pepper I just showed you, these, which are very obviously green peppers, they have that typical green pepper bottom on them. They're growing like green peppers. Okay. It's great. These are obviously green peppers. They're actually rainbow bell peppers. Whatever. Now this plant was in there with them, but they're not getting big. They're only turning into these little balls. I ate one the other day. They feel very firm. They feel like they're very much ready. They're color changing like they're very much ready. I mean, like here, I'll break this one off. Look at this. This is a pepper that is done growing, right? Right? This is a pepper that's done growing. It's starting to crack. It's starting to change colors. But it never got big like a green pepper. But they're good. What kind of pepper is this? What happened here? Somebody help me. What happened here? Why is this one different? I don't know. I really wish the neighbors' dogs would stop barking. I think somebody's doing some work on their house because I had to pause while a work truck drove by, and now they haven't stopped. So if you can hear that, I'm sorry. If you can't, disregard. I'm just going to pick some of these green peppers that I see tucked back in here. Beautiful little green peppers. Absolutely gorgeous. They're firm. They snapped off very easily. Beautiful. I'm excited to eat these. I love green peppers. Just seeing if there's any more in here. I've got a couple others that are not quite as firm yet, so I don't think they are ready. Oh, there was a rotten one. We'll just leave that down there. It'll be fun. Just coming through, coming through. This one looked good. Always sad when that happens. Throw it to the chickens. So I did come through and pick some of these pepper balls. I don't know what these are. They're supposed to be bell peppers. They're very much not. They're very much not getting any bigger. They're changing colors, but they are not growing in size. I've been watching them for weeks. And I picked 3 jalapenos. They're not that large, but they're starting to get that streaking that tells me that they're about done. Ignore my tie-dye nails again. But they're getting that streaking that tells me that they're getting done, getting some heat to them. And then I also picked this one because it looks like it's starting to get like some blossom end rot or something, and I definitely don't want that to get any worse. So we'll just cut that off and eat what we can off of it. The veggie basket is getting very full. It's got those little ball peppers, got some little jalapeno peppers there, looking good. I actually had to come through and cut it from this side. Oh my Lord, it has like grown into everything. This has been my first problem with the trellising of the squash. I'm gonna have to really wiggle that thing out of there. That was like giving birth or something. My goodness, look how deformed this squash is. So leaving it there was not really an option. I could tell that the string and everything was just going to continue to grow into it. It was rubbing the wood. It's still very much edible. It's just got a little more character about it. I might need a bigger basket. I may need a bigger basket for sure. So these are cilantro seeds that I have already saved this year. I got these cute jars on Amazon. I can put the link down below if you want me to. Just let me know. So what I'll do is I'll just come out here, gently roll my hand over the seeds, and they will just come right off in my hand. Just kind of like roll my thumb around. As they're ready, they'll just fall off. A couple of them are going to fall to the ground. They'll reseed naturally. That's okay. And then I'll save all these, and now I've got cilantro seeds for next year or the fall. Look how full I've almost got this jar. So this is just from 2 plants, maybe 3. Anyways, that I had bought at the farmer's market, planted. They went to seed. I let them go to seed, but now look at this. Next year I don't have to buy plants. I'll just replant this. I am going to sit this inside with the lid open just so some of that moisture can come out. Like I said, we've gotten a lot of rain lately, and I don't want these seeds to mold. I do want them to be very dry. They look pretty dry already, but I just want to make sure that we're not going to get them moldy. So I'm going to cover it to go inside, but if you seed save, make sure your seeds are good and dry before you seal this up permanently. I'm watching the work truck leave. Maybe the dogs will stop barking. One could hope. I wanted to focus on these oregano flowers. Look how pretty those are. Beautiful. The pollinators will like these. I'm going to seed save from these as well. But in doing so, I realized I've still got more seeds from my cilantro, so I'll pick some more seeds in a little bit. These things put on a ton of seed. Like, look at that. Just a ton of seed. It's great. Speaking of seed saving, these cosmos that I have here, aren't they beautiful? Look how beautiful. I love how light and airy these flowers look. But when they are done, this is what they look like. You see these? These are all seeds right here. So these cosmos actually came from my mom's. Last year I was at her house and I was like, oh, those look beautiful. She's got like a wildflower patch. And I said, can I get a Ziploc bag and take some of those seed head home? She said, sure, I guess. So that's how I wound up with cosmos this year, is from seed saving. So that was great. Didn't have to buy those. So next thing I'm going to work on is picking some tomatoes. All right, so I've got a lot of tomatoes to harvest. Even if they are not quite red where I want them to be, I'm going to go ahead and pick them just because we've had so much rain. I definitely don't want them splitting like my pink brandywine was starting to do. So let's get to it and we will start picking some of these tomatoes. This one looks good. These are the Rutgers tomatoes, so this one's still a little orange, not quite red all around. It'll turn red on the counter, it'll be just fine. Got quite a few deep in the back here. Got some more Rutgers. That one's got a little bit of a bad spot on it. We'll just cut it off, we can still use it. I have been freezing some of my tomatoes so that I can can them later. I just honestly haven't had time to put them up right now. If one has a bad spot on it though, I won't freeze those. I'll just go ahead and use those for slicing. So these are all Rutgers. And then I think I see a Cherokee purple back there. I almost always pick my Cherokee purples when they're a little early anyways, just because I feel like these split pretty bad. So this will turn pretty on the counter, but look at the color in these. I don't know if I love them so much for the color or for the flavor or for both, but Cherokee purples are definitely my favorite tomatoes. So I got 2 Cherokee purples from that plant, and then I noticed some Romas back here. Romas kind of grow in clusters, so I'm kind of blind picking, but I know that if there was one red one, the other ones are likely red too. So those look beautiful. These will definitely be put away for canning something yummy later. You can see here though where we're already getting some condensation in that jar. That's why I said to make sure you leave it open so that those seeds can dry out all the way. There's a bug in my coffee. This is prime example of what tomatoes do when they get too much rain. I maybe should have picked this one before the rain because of the split. It's not going to be terrible though. I mean, it's definitely still edible, but you definitely don't want to leave them on the plant like this. I see another one back there that's also starting to split, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that. These are my Better Boy tomatoes. So this one is red, obviously. This one is a little bit oranger. I'm gonna go ahead and still pick both of these. Just let the oranger one turn red on the counter because once again, all that rain, I don't want them to split. And I know for a fact that I'm not gonna be able to be out here again tomorrow. So just to be able to kind of save the fruit and get what I can out of it. Got another red Better Boy back there, another red Better Boy. Those, I may take one of them, I may leave the others. Those are kind of like teetering on where I like to pick them. And I'm definitely gonna look for more hornworms. This is some hornworm damage right here. I had killed that hornworm, but it had bit into the tomato. I'll probably give that one to the chickens. They love tomatoes. There is a tomato up there. You can see where the hornworm just like totally ate it. That's what they do. They eat your tomatoes. They eat the leaves off of your plants. But you see how that one's not moving? It's because all of those eggs are on him and they're actually eating him. Kind of weird. It really weirded me out the first time I ever saw it, and I had to look up to see what it was. I was like, what is going on with this bug? I thought it was like morphing into something strange, but it's good because they're killing it. So we'll put these Better Boys down here in the basket too. Running out of room in the basket. So this right here is where I'll let a tomato continue to grow after having some hornworm damage. And this right here I think was hornworm damage, but it's just gotten worse. I'm just gonna give this to the chicken. From the front it looked like this and I was like, man, that is a beautiful tomato. And then I picked it and it had that big old bad spot in it, but the chickens will eat it, they don't care. This thing is heavy. Look how much produce. This basket is so full. It's like killing my arm here. Very full. That's going to the chickens. This basket, got it from the Goodwill. I see people asking like, oh, what do you bring your vegetables in? That kind of thing. You can buy a nice basket online for a lot of money, or you can go to the Goodwill and get one like this for $1 to $3. Do it that way. I just washed it off real good when I got it home. It was a little dusty. It works. So I just wanted to say, I'm not doing this channel as a way to brag, more as a way for me to keep up with what I'm growing, what works good for me, what are problems I had, things that worked well, things that I need to do better. A learning process for me, but also a learning process for the viewers. I think the best way to become a better gardener is to get into your garden every single day, or at least every 3 days if you work. Even if it's just for a little bit at a time, because it can go out of hand so quick. But you can save your family so much money, and you can put better food into your body just by gardening. So let's talk about everything we got today. Just a quick recap. We've got cilantro seeds for growing next year. We've got tons of tomatoes. Tons of tomatoes. So like I was saying, tons of tomatoes, Cherokee Purples, Romas, Better Boys, Rutgers, pink Brandywines. We've got green peppers, jalapeno peppers, our little mystery ball peppers. I don't know what they are, but we're going to eat them. We've got bunches and bunches of cucumbers. I've got more cucumbers this year than I ever have. We've got cucamelons, we've got squash, and then look at all the zucchini. Look at all that. And even though some of this had a couple bad spots in it, it'll still feed my chickens. Look at that produce that came out of the garden, fresh, organic, feed my family. Just beautiful. Absolutely love it. This right here, this is why I garden. These are my dahlias that are on the other side of the fence, so like the outside of the fence. Still getting a little bit of Japanese beetle damage. Go away. Not too much, but aren't they beautiful? I just love this like pink, white, purple, soft, so pretty, so pretty. Still getting a couple calla lilies that are peeking through as well, so that's exciting. This poor green stalk, y'all. I have neglected her. I really have. We're going to do better in the fall, though. We are going to do better in the fall. My herbs are really doing good in here. I've got some thyme. It looks beautiful. The parsley is really doing good in here. The green beans, the bush beans, I had 2 flushes, then it got really hot. They're just not doing great. I got a couple handfuls, nothing to write home about. And I do have some more lettuce coming up, which is interesting because I didn't plant this. I guess I cut a lettuce down and this is growing off of it. Maybe I should do that here with these. Cut them down and just see what grows. I've kind of neglected this. I need to do better. I've also got some sage and thyme in pots, and that seems to be growing pretty well too. I need to pull this cilantro. You can see where I already came through and robbed it of its seeds earlier. But that's what I got going on for the porch garden. We're going to do better in the fall, green stalk. I failed you, and I'm sorry. So as you can see, it's not going to waste. The stuff that got too big or split, the chickens don't care. They still love it. The cucumber was extra seedy. Oh, here comes Big Mama. This is my oldest chicken. We've been in this house almost 5 years. She came with the house and was supposedly 2 years old when we got the house. So that would make her like about to be 7. She's outlived a lot of other chickens. I'm pretty sure she doesn't lay anymore, but we love her anyway. So this is my strawberry patch. I did not plant these strawberries this close together. They have sent off runners and really just exploded in size. And I was going to come out here and thin them. And I've got a list of people that I'm going to share my strawberry plants with. But I don't want to do it yet because look, these girls, they're putting on new growth. That's a baby strawberry and flower to a future baby strawberry. Like, I guess I'll wait until the fall to pull them, because even though some of the leaves look dingy, there's definitely some new growth coming up on these. Look, there's another one. You've probably heard me talk about our deer problem here. I think I talk about it in every video because it is such a problem. We've got so many deer. They're beautiful. I love them. I like to eat them. But there's a ton around this area. So my strawberries have a huge fence around them, and so does my corn and okra. So I'm going to show you the corn and okra. And you may remember that I had a net over them, which was great because they were starting to get big. They were really protected from the bugs, the Japanese beetles, which is good. But that rain that came through, it knocked down this corn. We're going to go in there and look at that a little bit closer. I did try to stand it back up, but I really hope it makes it. There's another pan of just the fencing that we have to put around everything to protect it here. Look, there's some little red strawberries. Look at that. I love it. Fencing, we just kind of used what we had. This is 2 rolls of chicken wire so that it's too high for the deer to jump. This one, I really prefer this. I don't know if you call it like goat fencing or whatever. I prefer this. It's kind of expensive and it ran out. So we've got this here and then chicken wire on the other side. It looks It looks a little rough. You know, it was what we had and it's what works. So use what you have. It doesn't have to be beautiful to grow you a big amount of food. So here's the corn. There's an old saying that says knee high by the 4th of July. Well, we're past the 4th of July. That's my knee. It's past knee high. So I was like, yes, this is going to be the year that I have good corn. It was looking beautiful. But like I said, this rain has really knocked it down. I tried standing these back up last night. Then they flopped the other way. I'm really hoping that they just kind of straighten themselves out. I don't know. I tried. Sometimes you can't, well, all the time actually, you can't control the weather, so it is what it is. The okra are looking pretty good. Same thing though. You can see they got tons of mud splashed up on them. We do live where it's a lot of red mud. And the Japanese beetles have started to eat them a little bit. It's definitely not as bad as it's been in years past because I had them under that netting to start with. But we've got some baby okra pods coming on, which is exciting. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that's little baby okras. I love fried okra. Love it. So it's doing okay, the garden up here. Not as good as I would like it to just because of the rain, and we're going to expand this area next year. So next year it will be better. So yes, next year the hope is to expand all of this, do some more in-ground stuff, expand the garden all the way back here. We are going to have to take a couple trees out probably because it is kind of shaded up here. The trees that I planted are fruit trees. So we've got a fig. This is from Stark's Bros Nursery. I'm pretty excited about it. It put on a lot of growth fast. Looks very good. Then we've also got the Gala apple. This one came as a bare root, and I'll tell you what, it has really grown well. It seems to be doing great. I do need to come out here and give these a little bit of love, but you can see where we've got cages around them. Once again, because of the deer. I noticed that this one is actually putting on, let's see if I can show you some flowers. Look how pretty that is. I will probably pick those off just because this tree's a baby. I really want it to focus on some good growth on it, establishing its roots. I don't really want it to focus on trying to bear me fruit this year because it is its first year up here in the ground. Also, it needs a cross-pollinator, and its friend over there doesn't have any flowers yet, so I'm probably just going to pick those off just to encourage it to focus on being a tree before it tries being a flower. So that's what I've got going on in this second week of July. Thanks for coming along with me on my garden tours. My feet are soaked because the ground is still soaked. So I'm going to go inside, put up some of this food that I got, do some things around the house. But like I said, I will be doing a planting for July. Probably going to do like some squash, zucchini, get some fall crops started because this is the time to start thinking about that. We are past the longest day of summer, which sadly means we're headed closer and closer to fall every day. So I want to make sure that I'm prepared and having that kind of stuff ready. I can probably do maybe another round of flowers, another round of squash, zucchini, cucumbers, and then I'll get started on some more cold weather stuff like my broccolis, cabbages, collards, things that are going to hold up in the fall. I see a hummingbird down there on my plants. Like watching it, so pretty. I love that the birds come. They don't come when you're down there because they're afraid of you, but anyways, so happy second week of July. I'll see you for the third week of July. Make sure that you like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Let me know where you're watching from. I would love to know what zone you're in. Like I said, I'm in zone 7B. So happy gardening. Get out there and grow something. Have a blessed week. Bye.